Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Exchange. I'm your host, Harry Tucker, and this is the show where every day of the week we take a look at what's going on in the world of cryptocurrency and help piece together all the moving parts in this constantly changing digital universe. Now, it's Thursday, the 24th of May, and making news today is that Coinbase is shutting down GDAX. Major markets are moving to crypto legitimacy, and the Marshall Islands plan to replace USD with its own cryptocurrency. So stick around because all of that and much more is coming up right now. The Next Web has reported that popular cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase has announced plans to shut its digital asset platform GDAX to launch the brand new Coinbase PRO, which will cater specifically to bigger crypto traders. While both platforms will remain active for the time being, the idea is to phase out GDAX on the 29th of June. The new platform will retain all of GDAX's functionalities and, of course, introduce some new ones. In addition to a smoother and more intuitive redesign, the platform claims it will also offer simplified deposit and withdrawal features, access to improved charts and historical data, as well as a revamped portfolio page. Needless to say, all the previous GDAX activity will be ported to Coinbase PRO. Aside from the new exchange platform, the San Francisco-based company also revealed it will be launching its own Coinbase wallet in the near future as well. And the Marshall Islands are looking to replace US dollars with its own cryptocurrency, according to The Verge. Now, currently, the Marshall Islands use only US dollar as the country's official currency, but the government has signed the change into law, making the sovereign its new official cryptocurrency. And this was first spotted by CNBC Africa cryptocurrency trader host Ryan Yuna. The bill was signed into effect actually on March the 1st, but the news is only making waves this week. The Marshall Islands population is just 53,000 people, so the change doesn't affect too many, but it is significant for citizens of the islands because banks and credit card companies will need to begin accepting it. With the recent change, US dollars are still going to be accepted on the islands, and the sovereign will just be considered the country's official legal tender. The sovereign will be launched through an initial coin offering, and supply is supposed to be capped at 24 million tokens as a precaution against inflation, with citizens being able to swap their US dollar for the coin. Now, the Bank of England has published an extensive working paper on its findings for central bank digital currencies. A central bank digital currency is essentially government-issued cryptocurrency. The concept is being widely explored by different countries that want to unlock the benefits digital currencies brings, such as the ability to program money, move funds quickly and seamlessly, and otherwise move away from the extraordinary inefficient systems of today. The general conclusion of the BOE's finding is that central bank digital currency is actually very feasible and can be done without introducing too many unseemly new risks. The main question the report says is what form the CBDC will take, how it's best rolled out, and how commercial banks will respond to potentially getting the business of customers' deposits yanked away from them. The report focused on the need to talk about a specific model of central bank digital currency in order to make any real headway on the subject. And it laid out three options as plausible systems to talk around and explore the impacts of a CBDC in more details. And more news on Coinbase today is that a CNBC reports that cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase has acquired Paradex, a platform that enables users to trade virtual coins directly with each other. And the San Francisco-based Coinbase announced this just today. Coinbase plans to make some enhancements to the technology and launch Paradex outside to customers. To launch the service to customers outside the United States, enabling them to trade hundreds of different tokens. The financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but Paradex has 10 employees and is considered a decentralized exchange because it does not maintain custody of the tokens on behalf of its users, but allows them to trade them through digital wallets. Now, the move will significantly expand the types of cryptocurrencies that customers will be able to access through Coinbase, which has traditionally been more conservative than competitors in listing new types of coins. And finally, Major markets are moving to crypto legitimacy. Last week, Mark O'Brien, the longtime CEO of Visa in the UK and Ireland, announced that he joined cryptocurrency startup Crypterium, taking the mantle as the company's CEO. This follows moves by Combank's former CFO, Rob Jesudason, who recently signed on with the EOS team. O'Brien's appointment came after an executive search with the company, hoping to partner with major credit card companies to launch cryptocurrency cards. His appointment follows recent moves by many Wall Street execs to the crypto world, including former Goldman Sachs Managing Director James Radecki and another former Wall Street maven, Mike Novogratz, who founded Galaxy Digital in September of 2017. Now, Goldman Sachs' Timothy Tam, who left the relative safety of Wall Street for the world of crypto, has become the CEO of CoinFire. Twitter founder and CEO Jack Dorsey has launched his own payments platform, Square, and has also launched a Bitcoin exchange. And we've also seen regulators around the world pay serious attention to cryptocurrency exchanges, ICOs, and other elements of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now, up next, we chat with Intimate. Now, Intimate is a cryptocurrency facilitating payments and trust for the adult industry, making it safer and more secure for all. The co-founder and engagement director of Intimate, Leah Callum Butler, dropped by our offices to explain why Intimate decided to create the Intimate, or the ITM token. Here it is.
So there's actually a lot of privacy coins out there already. You might have had things like Zcash and Monero and Dash. What they're really designed to do is essentially hide transactions, afford that privacy element, but they don't have the added trust and reputation layer on the top. So that's where we're taking it a step further. We think that people should be able to transact privately, and we think that that's going to do a lot of good for that industry in terms of flooding in more customers. But we don't want people to be acting shady, essentially. There needs to be an incentive and a reward system, really, for people to be able to be good actors on the network. And I can talk a bit more in detail later, if you like, about how the trust and reputation system works. The second thing around why we need a new token is that, go with the granddaddy of crypto, Bitcoin, a lot of the adult platforms are already accepting Bitcoin. A lot of them have got rid of it now because the transaction fees could be higher than the item or service that you're buying, depending on what it is. But even prior to the scalability issues, business operators were noticing that out of their entire revenue, Bitcoin was actually a minute amount of their total transactions. Lots of problems with that. There's no one actually driving Bitcoin to apply it to the industry, and the adult industry is pretty unique. It does have some players there who have experienced institutional bias for such a long time around banking institutions that won't deal with them completely on moral grounds, payment gateways that won't deal with them for the same reasons, and it goes on and on. But they're quite wary of being able to accept these new payment forms, and does it actually suit their business? So what we can do is launch a token which is tailored to the industry to provide special attributes and features that are actually relevant to that use case, like the trust and reputation layer. But also, if we're honest, blockchain's pretty clunky, infantile technology, which is evolving at lightning pace. We're still seeing a lot of issues with things like scalability and fees rising, forks, governance of foundations. There's a lot of issues there that people are working really hard to solve, but in the meantime, they're very real. So our token is actually blockchain agnostic. We raise on an ERC20 token, so it will be on the Ethereum blockchain, but if we need to move, we retain that right to be able to completely transport that token over to another blockchain. That could be something like EOS or Neo or Waves or Cardano or any other exceptional smart contracts platform which will handle our trust and reputation system. But in that way, we can make sure that the people using the token don't have that headache of, the complexity of crypto is just too overwhelming. I just want the benefits in the same way that I use my banking systems right now without having to learn about all of this other stuff. So in that way, when we have a specific token, we can actually manage all of that complexity for the people who are using our token every day.
So where will the token be listed to begin with?
So we've got an Intimate digital wallet, which will be on your phone. At first, we're really focusing on the payments bundling around people who will just come into the Intimate digital wallet, purchase tokens there, and use it with all of our partners.
So if you're using this as a purchase, it's as easy as just going through and essentially essentially, if you think of it, almost like buying credit for your phone type of thing.
Exactly, and that's what we're going for too, and it's around that utility of the token, making sure that it's actually being used with our partners who want to accept intimate tokens as payment. Of course, there's a lot of hype around the crypto space, around appreciation of tokens and which one should I invest in, which one should I buy now to become a millionaire overnight. It's not really the space that we play in. We're very much about solving the problems of the industry. Yep. So our goal is to make sure that people can buy the token and pay with it immediately so that we can actually start to see it having some impact on the problems that exist.
Joining us now, we have James Edwards from Finder.com. How you going?
I'm good.
What's going on in your world?
What's going on in my world is a couple of things. I've been looking at some articles today, and one that's caught my eye is Coinbase rebranding their GDAX platform to Coinbase PRO, and also buying up a decentralized exchange, which I find quite exciting.
Yeah. So we just sort of went over like the key headlines of that in the news just then. But yeah, they're both interesting moves because was GDAX before Coinbase?
No, GDAX was launched around the same time. So
Okay.
Coinbase started out as just basically a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, and a way to buy Bitcoin. Then they introduced GDAX as like a professional trading platform.
Yeah.
And then they've got an opened a OTC counter.
Yeah.
And now they're getting a decentralized exchange. They want to, be the Google of cryptocurrency, as they say. And I think this is pretty exciting stuff because I really like decentralized exchanges. I think it's, the whole point of crypto is to be decentralized, but now we've been using exchanges as a bank, basically, where people keep their funds. Now you can keep your funds in your own wallet, but still exchange, and I think that's really exciting.
So we saw like Binance recently announced that they're moving, or that a part of their exchange is going to become a decentralized exchange as well. And why do you think the companies are moving towards that model? Is it because for them it's less risk, obviously, is one thing, but why else do you?
I think it's the only way to keep up in the market. I think if the big brand names, they know how quickly people come and go in crypto. If we look at Binance, they only really started up at the end of last year, and they've risen to number one. They could just as easily and quickly, fall out of the picture. Yeah. And so I think Binance have realized that, Coinbase have realized that a decentralized exchange is really the next step for cryptocurrency exchanges. That's what you've got to do to keep up. And yeah, I think that's why they're doing it. I think it's really good for the consumers, because my worry was that the big exchanges weren't going to keep up. We were going to have to be torn between, using a decentralized exchange with not much liquidity, maybe not great security, just really not knowing much about it. Now that big brands are catching up with it, I think it's really great.
Yeah, it's like every time I use like Ether Delta at the moment, I just feel like I'm just like, whoa, it's like feels sketchy.
Yes,
like it doesn't feel like I'm putting.
First time I used Ether Delta, I was like, I've lost all my Ethereum, haven't I? It's gone. It's gone.
I'm never going to see this
again.
And
then suddenly it showed up in an account. I was like, I don't even think that's my account, but hey, it's my money. Quickly traded, got out of there. Never been back.
Have they announced any solutions around, so one of the things like Ether Delta, for example, is based on an Ethereum smart contract and therefore only trades Ethereum-based ERC20 or Ethereum. Have there been any news on how sort of these exchanges are going to work with cross-chain? And
well, there's interesting things cross-chain, but to answer that question, Coinbase bought Paradex, who originally, when they came out, were going to be on the OX protocol, which is a way of trading tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. Funnily enough, Paradex have since come out and said they're not using OX. But today, while the market is completely red, the price of OX has actually experienced a boom. I think what that is confused speculators who think Paradex has been bought by Coinbase, Paradex uses OX. No. Paradex does not use OX.
So as far as correct me if I'm wrong, but Paradex, how I see it, it's not a smart contract based. It's literally just set up in terms of as it's like an Ethereum backend. So it's more like, okay, the software in the middle that goes, cool, you've got, essentially works as an exchange, but they don't host it, and they go, cool, you've got 1 Bitcoin, you've got 10 ETH, and then just says, cool, we'll both transfer it to one to another, and then that's
Yeah, I don't know much about how their platform works. I know that some each decentralized exchange seems to do it in a different way. Some use atomic swaps.
Yeah.
Loopring is coming out, or is out now, but the Nex exchange or the Neon exchange or Neo will use Loopring. And Loopring itself allows you to trade directly from the wallet, but it also allows decentralized exchanges to use that. So those are all on-chain, so it's got to be ERC20, NEP5. And then there's actually decentralized exchanges that choose to hold liquidity in their own banks, which is kind of weird.
Like bordering on centralized.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really weird way of doing it, but what I guess is it offers more liquidity and the user still gets to hold their private keys, keep their funds in their wallet. So it would be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. And then we talk about like Ether Delta and how it seems like super sketchy. And then we bring in Coinbase and Binance, sort of bringing a bit more legitimacy there. So if we're going to move to these decentralized, do you think that's so important? These other big players bringing some kind of legitimacy to bringing decentralized exchanges and crypto in general into the mainstream?
Yeah, so I think they'll bring decentralized exchanges into the mainstream. I think Coinbase looks really focused on going mainstream.
Yeah.
That seems to be their commitment at the moment. They want to make it really easy for people to use it and spend it. And as we've seen over the recent days, there's been a big push in the rest of the market to going mainstream.
And what do you think's been the biggest setbacks, or are the biggest setbacks to going mainstream now?
I think volatility in price. It's very hard to want to go out and actually spend a cryptocurrency when today I buy the coffee, it's $5 and then tomorrow it's suddenly worth $7 and then, maybe it's $3 the next. I think that's really difficult for people to, part with their money in that way. Unless they've been holding on to it a long time,
and they bought Bitcoin at $100 and now it's 10 grand,
and they're happy to spend those profits. So I think it's one thing that I find interesting is what will happen with stable coins.
Yep.
Will they become maybe the first mainstream adoption of crypto?
Yep.
Because I think for me, one thing that really got me into crypto was borderless transactions.
Yep.
The ability for me to send money to somewhere in Europe or purchase something without having to transact, get hit with these really big fees. I think that's something that crypto could really take off from mainstream adoption.
And we've seen companies pop up that, although it's not consumer facing the crypto side of it, but they use crypto for that thing there. Like one of the partners actually that we work with at HiveX and Finder is a company called Wire, which essentially they do transactions and you give them your, say, Australian dollar, and then they basically convert that into crypto and then send the crypto to their US account and then take it into US dollar and then give the US. And whereas a normal transfer is 2 or 3 days and ridiculous fees, they do this in in minutes.
And things especially Ripple and Stellar solve that problem as well. So I think those are the ones that will sort of get it. I think the adoption by big institutions is going to be the thing that really drives it, and then they're going to want to get their users on board. I think this whole thing of executives being swooped up by big crypto companies is another big thing, because those executives, they've got big networks, they're able to take crypto,
influence the right amount of people, and
influence people, get institutions on board, and that'll really help. But that question of volatility, I think, is we've got to figure out something there. What
about spending? Because at the moment, it's not that easy to spend, and we've seen the former CEO of Visa in the UK. I forgot his first name, something O'Brien.
Yep.
Crypterium has taken him as CEO because they want him to help lead their crypto, debit card and credit card systems. So they're obviously really bullish on using cards to bring it into the mainstream. Do you think, from what you've heard from other people, maybe family and friends, is spending a thing, or is it just people are just hoping that it's a thing and making businesses out of it?
I mean, I can't speak for other people because I don't know anyone that is going out and spending it, but I can speak for me personally, and I'm actually moving overseas in just about a week, and I actually want to be spending my crypto while I'm over there. I've held it for long enough that I'm happy I've got some profits, anything I spend, because if I convert my money for each country that I go to, first I go to Norway, then I go to Denmark, then I go to the Eurozone, that's really not good for me. That's really expensive. Crypto is, half the reason it exists is to kind of cut down on these things. And I actually really want to spend it. I want a crypto debit card. I want a crypto ATM where I can, deposit Bitcoin and withdraw in the local currency. Yeah,
you were talking about, I remember we were talking about you moving the other week. Did you end up gaining one of the prepaid cards and loading it up with cryptos?
Yeah, so I did it through a payment platform, through Hive Spend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So disclosure, that's I genuinely didn't know he was going to say that, but that's a platform that I help.
Really easy way for me to, no, I'll just talk briefly. That was the experience I did. Moved money through it, and suddenly I've got it on a prepaid card in euros.
Yep.
And I just converted my cryptocurrency into fiat, and it was really easy and smooth.
Awesome. What prepaid card did you use?
It's a MasterCard prepaid travel passport.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then it worked out, like rates were good. And
Yep, it was just through BPay. Rates were fine. Like I said, I've held it for long enough.
Awesome.
That, you know.
But now, like, yes, that's what I mean. It's just I find that stuff interesting because I talk to my family, and it's the stuff's kind of like the questions that I hear people say, and the things I talk about is cool. I can buy it, but then what do I do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if it makes money, then how do I get rid of it? Like, can I spend it on things? And occasionally you'll see like some car dealer on car sales try to get some buzz to his business by saying we accept Bitcoin for cars and stuff like that. But outside of that, it's really quite hard. I think you've seen like Living Room of Satoshi has a bit of they've like a couple of places in Brisbane where they've done some terminals for people to be able to pay with Bitcoin and things like that. But I actually saw some random guy on LinkedIn yesterday was trying to get me on his ICO. But it was actually
the LinkedIn hawks.
Yeah, it was. But his thing that was what they were trying to do, and at the surface I read, I'm like, this is actually kind of interesting. And it was essentially you give your credit card details at, now looking back to it, big flag, just your 16 digits, and then they convert your existing card into a debit credit card. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
But the catch was, I realized, is that merchants had to install their API.
Oh wow, that's not
For it
going
to
to
accept
happen.
it. Like, well, you're gonna like. Isn't it much easier if I really wanted to go and get, spend my crypto? I'm just going to go and load it on a debit card that exists.
Well, I think that's what's exciting about this guy from Visa moving across to Crypterium, because Crypterium are they want to bring it, mainstream that spending. And then the other thing is the CEO and co-founder of Twitter recently purchased Square and has also started up.
He founded Square.
Oh, he founded Square.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey founded Square.
And they've also released their own Bitcoin, platform to purchase Bitcoin. And if they can incorporate cryptocurrency into Square, into those point of sale terminals,
Man,
that would be amazing.
Square's freaking huge. Like in the US, Square is massive. I swear, like every terminal I go to outside of like your big chains is a Square reader.
Yeah,
and I think they just hired like 100 people working in Australia now on it. And like it's
Plus, they're better than the current ones. Like I was in a bar. They literally just tossed me over the Square, tapped my card, threw it back, and it was like, this is great.
Yeah, like that sort of adoption is going to be key for the mainstream. But keen to hear what you guys think on, like, what do you think is going to get at mainstream? Join our Telegram chat, which is Crypto Finance TV. We're both on there. Have a chat about it, or let us know on Twitter using hashtag The Daily Exchange. But thanks for coming on today, James.
Thank you.
We'll chat to you again next week. Monday, you're back on.
That will be my last episode, I'm
last
afraid.
Episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say.
James moving to Berlin.
But I'll be the foreign correspondent going forward. I'll be at, all the big conferences, be reporting, see what's happening in Europe,
Give
and make sure.
Some great crosses over there for you.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, mate. Up next, we've got Bitcoin price and having a look at what's been causing the dip at the moment. Now, yesterday we discussed a major support near $8,240 in Bitcoin against the USD. Now this pair has failed to hold that support and even sunk further below the 100-hourly simply moving average, and it opened the doors for more losses, and the price continued to break more support levels, again breaking the $8,160 support, and sellers took control and pushed the price well below the $8,000 handle, and a low was formed below 7,900 at around 7,860 around here, where buyers defended further losses. At the moment, the price is, where are we at the moment, Joel? What's the price now? It's currently on the screen is what we're sitting at. We go down there. There we go, 7,623. So that's dropped considerably that's dropped considerably from some of the lows that we were expecting there, and it's dropped well below the 38.2% fib retracement level. And we're now well below the 78.6 fib retracement level, which is way further than a lot of people were expecting in the short term. Now, the price clearly broke a key support at that $8,160 level up here, and that signaled the downtrend as we move further down here, and it's kind of just been a bit of a free fall since then. Now, there could be recoveries towards $8,100 and $8,200. If we get a bit of resistance around that $7,600 level, but it's likely to remain under some selling pressure. Now, if we look at the technical indicators, the hourly MACD is very well placed in the bearish zone. The hourly relative strength index is moving higher from the oversold levels. We got major support levels at $7,600 and a major resistance level at $8,100. Let's have a look at what's going on Reddit cryptocurrency, what the community is talking about, what matters, and what could influence things that are happening as we move forward. Now, leading it now is what we just talked about before. Coinbase acquires cryptocurrency trading platform Paradex. Now, one of the biggest reasons the community is so keen on this is the fact that it opens up so many more tokens and coins that are accepted on Paradex, and people are hoping that brings them into Coinbase as well. So as Paradex gets more incorporated and the company becomes more part of Coinbase, that could be the foundation of them accepting more different types of coins and blockchain and tokens. Other ones, we've got Bitcoin Gold was hit by a double spend attack with exchanges losing millions. I don't know who's buying Bitcoin Gold. I don't know who's buying these other, there's so many Bitcoin forks. Keen to hear, genuinely, let us know. If you're someone who's bought a Bitcoin fork that isn't Bitcoin Cash, why? Let me know, I'm really keen. Hashtag the Daily Exchange, or I'm at Harry Tucker on Twitter, or of course our Telegram channel. I'm keen. If there's someone out there watching that has bought Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Diamond or one of these, let's have a chat. I want to know why. Ellen has lost almost 80 million, has almost 80 million followers, and she pushed Ripple. So Ripple has donated, along with Ashton Kutcher, donating quite a bit of cash towards one of her foundations. So she just did a decent push towards that. Cryptocurrency prices influenced by emotion and mood more than economic factors, says study. Hence why we bring Reddit, because it's more emotion and mood in here, more than just what charts can show. So it's really important to see, what's trending on social, what people are talking about, because that's often more of an accurate representation of what's going to happen with movements, more so than reading some charts. IBM has planned to hire 1,800 people in France for blockchain and artificial intelligence, a big hiring spree. 51% attacks are real and they happen. So that's what happened at Bitcoin Gold. And 51% attacks after they were on the TV show Silicon Valley a couple of weeks ago have now become quite a talking point again. So Bitcoin Cash fraud, so people claim, this is what they say, I didn't say that. Bitcoin Cash fraud, Craig Wright gets humiliated at a conference in Taiwan. Now, Craig Wright originally was the guy who, I think it would have been 2015, claimed he was Satoshi, and he ended up fleeing to the UK, I think. He's from Sydney, and ever since then he's been really pushing hard on Bitcoin Cash. has been a big supporter of that, but a lot of people in the community accuse him of being a fraud because of Satoshi, and a lot of Bitcoin, I guess, loyalists don't believe that Bitcoin Cash is real, and they think it's just been taken advantage of the fact that the people who own Bitcoin.com push Bitcoin Cash, and people who are unsuspecting go to Bitcoin.com thinking it's the real website for Bitcoin, and they see Bitcoin Cash. Now, Shark Tank from the US's Barbara Cochran thinks you'll soon be buying your home with cryptocurrency. Again, more Coinbase with Paradox. The Ethereum blockchain size has exceeded 1 terabyte, and yes, it's an issue. So looking into how much data is being stored on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's a bit of an issue because right now it hasn't, crypto's nowhere near mainstream, and the Ethereum blockchain is already holding a terabyte worth of smart contracts and across the network, and how is it going to be sustainable once more than 0.001% of the population is using it. The United States government cracks down on fraudulent cryptos. It's something we talked about yesterday too, actually. Europe's second largest stock exchange is also looking to launch crypto trading soon. So again, it's sort of infecting and building up in these stock exchanges. Or New York Stock Exchange is looking to do its own one too. So it's all happening. And PayPal will definitely support Bitcoin if it becomes a better currency. Coinbase, a catalyst for mainstream crypto adoption and the acquisition. So people are so hyped on these Coinbase pickups and what they're going to do with them. But that is all that's happening today on the social channel, on Reddit, and that people are talking about. Oh, Verge got hit with another 51% tag. But yeah, so up next we have some questions. First one comes from a viewer who asked, why can't I purchase Ripple from the Coinbase platform in Canada? You can't purchase Ripple from the Coinbase platform in any country. They don't support it. Coinbase currently supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. There was rumors they were going to support Ripple earlier in the year, but they never came through. And they still sort of continue a bit. But you can't buy a Ripple on there anywhere, and it will be, we'll have to wait for an announcement from Coinbase to supporting Ripple to see when that's going to happen. But there's sort of no news, no concrete information at the moment that it's going to support it. And our next question asks, is there a minimum amount of money needed for trading in the Binance exchange? There's no real minimum set by Binance, but it could depend on the token or the coin that you're trying to exchange, and its decimal points. Like, some exchanges, while you've got ones that go to, tokens go to like 18 decimal points, so you could technically do 0.00000.1 of a token to trade on there. There are some that you can only trade in like singular coins or tokens like USDT. There's no sort of decimals there. And so it just depends on the coin itself and the token itself. And then of course you pay fees on the trade. So that's sort of there, but it all depends on the token. Binance doesn't set a minimum trade amount. It's based on the coin and the token itself. But that brings us to the end of today's show. If you have any questions about cryptocurrencies or are just trying to make sense of it all, let us know using hashtag #TheDailyExchange on Twitter, leaving a comment down below, or just go to the live chat on any of our platforms and we'll try to answer it in the next show. Also, while you're there, let us know what's going on in your world of crypto. Anything that's caught your attention in the last few days? Keen to hear about it. Also, be sure to check out finder.com for more crypto news, and check out the other videos on our YouTube channel for more up-to-the-second info on everything crypto and blockchain related. But that's it for today. I'm your host, Harry Tucker. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the same time tomorrow.